stream taking place as always 1 p.m. Eastern. I do these things Monday through Friday, 1 p.m., where we talk about Freemasonry. And the first hour or so, usually we spend just hanging out and chatting about whatever. We see who jumps on. As always, much of the focus on these early streams is just getting to know people, whoever joins us. If we have new audience members, any questions you have about Freemasonry, I'll do my best to answer. I've been a Freemason since 2007. I don't claim to know everything, but I like to at least think I know a few things, or at least I can give you my perspectives on Freemasonry, what I think I've learned over the years. So hopefully I'm able to answer some of those questions that people have, or just talk. We got a good little audience, not so little anymore, that always joins us, and it's wonderful to have them. So let's give it a bit of time, see who jumps on, and we'll go from there. But then the second half, I was thinking maybe talking a little bit about cryptocurrency and Freemasonry, primarily because I'm getting ready for an interview with an audience member, friend of the channel, High Altitude Investing, preparing for his podcast appearance. And so part of that might be worth trying to explore a little bit more about cryptocurrency. I'm probably going to do an interesting thing. I'm probably going to do actually two different streams. This first stream, but then I may have to cut it off early, take care of a couple errands, and then run a few streams in the afternoon. So we shall see. And in the meantime, let's do our first poll question. So let's just get a bit of time. Answer the poll question. First one up. Do you think there's a possible benefit, or I guess benefits, in Freemasons or Freemasonry engaging with cryptocurrency? Yes, no, or unsure. Please let me know. I'm going to put this poll question also on my Twitter, on the X. We have one vote for unsure. And one vote for no. Welcome if you're just joining us. Please, when you jump on, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing and what you want to talk about. Today we are talking about Russian Republican. Do you have a real job? Interesting question, Russian Republican. And I guess it depends on how you define real job. Though I do hope you will be so kind as to hit the like and subscribe button. I feel like Russian Republican is an oxymoron a little bit. It's two different things, I feel like. The whole reason I developed Square and Compass Promotions is because I am trying to create a professional component to Freemasonry, because I believe that Freemasonry needs a professional component in order to survive the next 100 years or so. I don't think it's going to keep surviving if it continues to be a completely voluntary option. So I would consider myself to be a professional Freemason. Whether you consider that a real job or not, I guess that's up to you to decide. Though I did go to law school. I did work for several years, both in a jail and then as a probation officer before that. Tomac, how's it going? It's going well. Thank you so much for being here, Tomac, as always. I always love having you join the stream. Russian Republican, please hit the subscribe button if you can. And if you're going to help me, and if anybody watching that wants to help me turn this into a job, more of a real job, please go to patreon.com/square Compass, patreon.com/square and compass, and you can support me that way through the Patreon. Are Freemasons crypto Jews? I don't know what that means. I mean, Freemasonry isn't a Jewish organization, nor is it a Christian, nor is it a Muslim organization. It welcomes men of all faiths, and we are not really involved at all in cryptocurrency, to my knowledge, though I think maybe it's worth considering how we do so. That's actually something we'll be talking with High Altitude Investing about soon, who's on this channel often on the stream. The Grand Lodge is trying to create a GL. I would love to learn more about that. Do you have any information you can maybe send me by email, Michael Moore? Because I would love to learn more about how that's going. I think, and I've said this before, but I think Freemasonry needs to try to be involved in as many different spaces as it can be. I think taking an insular approach to Freemasonry is going to be, it limits what it can do and its ability to grow. And I think we are seeing the effects presently of some of those very negative, that isolationist tendency amongst Masons. Freemasons claim to be Noahide, the descendants of Noah. I've never heard that before. So do you mean stonemasons claim to be the descendants of Noah? Even then, I've never heard that. The extent to which I heard stonemasons claiming to be the descendants of anything, I've heard it related to primarily Nimrod from the Bible. He constructed the Tower of Babel out of mud, brick, and straw, and some consider him the first stonemason. But I've never heard the idea of stonemason being descended from Noah. If there's information you'd send about that, I'd be curious. Dad is on the stream. Dad, how's it going? Good to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here, as always. 5 votes. Do you think there's a possible benefit in Freemasons or Freemasonry engagement in cryptocurrency? Looks like 4 unsure votes, 1 vote no. So that is probably the best answers, I think, because I'm unsure about it myself. I don't know. But I think there's a possibility. Encyclopedia Mackey. Okay. I've never read the Mackey Encyclopedia, in fairness, though actually there's a bunch of copies of it in my temple. Let me see. Mackey Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. NOAH. All right, let's see what we got. Cryptocurrency, it's beyond me too, but I'm working on it. Like I said, because I think there could be some potential benefits to it. Let's see. Noah. In all the old Masonic manuscript constitutions that are extant, Noah and the Flood play an important part of Legend of the Craft. Hence, as the Masonic system became developed, the patriarch was looked upon as what was called the patron of Freemasonry. The connection of Noah with the mystic history of the order was rendered still closer with the influence of many symbols borrowed from the archetype worship, one of the most prominent of the ancient faiths. So intimately incorporated with the legends of Noah with the legends of Freemasonry, that Freemasons began at length to be called, or still called, Noahide, or the descendants of Noah, a term first applied by Dr. Anderson and very frequently used at a much later date. That's very cool. See, I've never heard any Masons describing themselves as connected to or descendants of Noah, which I find interesting because, to my knowledge, Noah wasn't connected much with stone at all. I know the Illuminati are mentioned because many people kind of connect the two. If the deluge destroyed everything, how were the arts and sciences, geometry especially, preserved and recorded? The story of the pillars and the use made of them by Noah's sons, which, as we've seen, he found ready-made in Polychronon, was a solution. Second was the story of the sons of Noah, had a point to value masons who sought to make clear their own mind, the religious foundation of the craft. A belief in God and the brotherhood among men, righteousness all over himself, given the clearest expression in the DM paragraph. The first name of Freemasons was to believing the world as framed by one supreme God and is governed by him. Not all versions of the old charges claim the Noah story in the same form. The Graham MS version, which also has many details peculiar to itself and is really an old catechism, more than a version of the old charges, gives Noah a story in a different form and reads in a different lesson. The precepts of the patriarch Noah, which were preserved in the constitution of ancient brethren, are 7 in number and are as follows. Renounce all idols, worship one true God, commit no murder. Be not defiled, do not steal, be just, eat no flesh with blood in it. I'm pretty sure I've seen enough Masons eat raw steak, or not raw, but rare steak. I don't think that's the case anymore. Interesting. I'll take a look at this. Maybe it might be worth reading into this a little bit more. What's interesting is I've been trying to get on my podcast a religious scholar to talk about the importance of I can't think of his name now, the importance of Solomon to Freemasons and Freemasonry. So it might be worth exploring Noah as well, and a little bit more from a biblical perspective. The old charges, the Masonic Constitution, asserted the charter for the first 1,000 of Freemasons were held in great reverence. In them was a story of Noah and the pillars. Frustrated Daily Driver. Frustrated Daily Driver, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit the like and the subscribe buttons if you can. I truly appreciate it. Let me know how it's going. We're here today chatting about Freemasonry. If you're asking about Freemasonry and movies, I can tell you some of my favorite connections of Freemasonry, or my favorite depictions of Freemasonry in movies. My favorite being From Hell, starring Johnny Depp. I love that movie. I think it's very underrated and underappreciated. I also love the depiction of Freemasonry, or the Stonecutters, as they're called in Homer the Great, the Stonecutters episode of The Simpsons. So you can check that out as well. But I hope that you're doing well. Thank you for joining. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions about Freemasonry. I mean, if you want to talk about movies, I love scary movies, and I have a personal YouTube channel where on Saturday nights I watch a scary movie and do like a watch along. This Saturday, 10 p.m., it's going to be Requiem for a Dream, which is a horror movie. It's interesting, Harry Backrap. See, for me, and I've talked about this before, like if you look at my Medium account, or I should say the Square and Compass Medium account. Let me see if I can pull it up here. For me, I've always, as a general rule, been more interested in the practical aspects of Freemasonry, meaning how is it that Freemasons can ensure that their lodges are, well attended? What can the Mason personally do to make sure his Masonic experience is as fulfilling as possible? That usually means things like, are you keeping up to date with your dues payments, your dues cards, things of that nature, as opposed to kind of the more esoteric, the Mackey kind of side of it with the encyclopedias, the ancient connections. I do like that stuff a little bit. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff regarding, for example, ancient Egypt, but yeah, it's not something I'm as well versed on. Even, Morals and Dogma, which I've read a few times, or I'm rereading it right now. That stuff is good, but it's not the thing that is going to make your Masonic experience, better, if that makes any sense. What makes the Masonic experience better really is more the practical aspects that I talk about in Medium. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just here, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing and what it is that you guys want to talk about. Today, I think our topic is going to be on cryptocurrency, but that doesn't mean that we can't chat about all sorts of other stuff in the interim. So please take a moment, hit like, subscribe, and let me know what do you want to talk about. Again, for Freemasonry, I do these every day, 1 p.m. Eastern. Pickles is back. How's it going, Pickles? I hope that you are doing well. Thank you for joining us once again. I hope that you are doing well. I am doing well. As always, I think you did so yesterday, but if you didn't get the chance, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. You can support us on Patreon and all that good stuff. Let me know if you have any opinions about cryptocurrency and Freemasonry. I'd love to know. I'm going to be doing this stream, I think, in two parts, because there will come a point where I have to log off and take a bit of a break. But then I plan to come back and maybe do another stream, even tonight, just to try more different times, see how it goes, see if maybe doing one this evening might be kind of fun and get some people joining us. But welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Let me know how it's going and what it is that you guys want to talk about. As again, we wait for a little bit before we start on today's main topic. And don't forget, this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, let me just double check the date, make sure I got it right. This Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, this Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we have got another episode being released of the Square and Compass podcast. It's an interview where we talk about Stoicism with Stoic Dan. So that's going to be great. It's round 2. He's coming back, so I'm looking forward to that interview. I hope that you guys will check it out. Friday is our monthly meeting of the Mystical Order of the Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm Grotto. Awesome. I hope that that goes well. You know, grotto and shrine is also something I don't know a ton about, but I'm hoping to learn more about it in the coming, with this podcast. Again, maybe I can look more of it up. But the grotto is an important part of the Masonic commitments. So but welcome, interesting enough, 7 votes. No yeses yet, I don't believe. But we got, do you think there's a possible benefit in Freemasons or Freemasonry engagement with cryptocurrency? Mostly unsure. I think there's like 5 unsure and 2 no votes, which is pretty good. I think pretty good answers. I think unsure and I don't know is usually the best answer. Grotto is kind of like Moose or Elks of Freemasonry. Yeah, that's what I was always kind of told it was and understood it to be, so. Just give it a bit of time, see who else joins us. And also, speaking of my Patreon, next week I'm going to be doing some more streams, but this time focusing on, I think what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to do 3 streams. One with all the paid members of the Patreon, a second one with all the members of the Patreon, paid or otherwise, and then a third regular one. But the Patreon one will be exclusive, and we'll talk more about maybe what people hope to get from the Patreon, as well as I got to start working on getting some of those documents out soon. Those letters out, all that correspondence, all that good stuff. welcome. If you're just joining us, please hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what it is that you guys want to chat about. Usually it takes about half an hour to an hour for the majority of people to start showing up. So we'll give it a bit of time, see who joins. And then we'll start on the main subject, which today is going to be cryptocurrency. And if you're new to the channel, please jump in the chat, say hello, let me know how you found us and what it is that you want to talk about. As I was saying, every day at 1 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, I do these live streams where we talk about different aspects of Freemasonry. I sometimes learn a bunch of stuff. I've been a Freemason since 2007, but certainly I don't claim to know everything. And there's lots of things I could still learn about. Like today, I learned about the connections between Freemasonry and Noah, which I did not know about. I have to read that in Mackie. But let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins in. I don't believe Freemasons as a group should engage in anything with banking except maybe a credit union. So I agree with that. Like we shouldn't be banking with each other. But I wonder, so when I say engage with cryptocurrency, I mean, it could be, for example, that Freemasons create its own crypto or NFTs, but like, so for example, does it make sense to for example, like should, for example, because I don't know of any secretaries, for example, who currently accept a dues card who currently accept dues payments through, for example, cryptocurrency. And does that make sense to allow, for example, Masons to pay dues through cryptocurrency? Or I know many Masonic lodges themselves have investment portfolios. Does it make sense to include cryptocurrency as a possible form of investment? Right? I think that is kind of the question. When I say engage with, that is kind of more the question I mean. Because, and then there is possibilities of, if, for example, a Masonic lodge wants to use or take advantage of like if a Masonic lodge wants to what's the word I'm looking for? Wants to donate to another Masonic lodge, donate to another Masonic body, anything of that nature. Does it make sense to use cryptocurrency to do so as a way to avoid bank fees, things of that nature, right? And it's one of those things where I'm not sure necessarily how obviously risky cryptocurrency is as compared to other forms. I mean, I get it that certainly, for example, when it comes to banking, one thing that cryptocurrency isn't is insured in the same way that say your deposits are, right? Because there is such a thing as deposit protection. which we don't have in um, which we don't have in cryptocurrency. For logic and crypto must have financial wisdom of the brethren. So Michael Moore saying someone sent the credit card post to your. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Let me just take a look at that now because I'm very curious about that, and I think it'd be awesome to. Again, I'm not saying I'm a supportive of it. Not saying I'm against it. It doesn't matter even what I say because I'm at the end of the day just an individual. But I'd be really curious to know more about this potential credit card. You know, if Freemasonry was actually a cult, they do a pretty good job of recruiting because they don't get you to join. You join of your free will because of their emphasis on secrecy and ritual, a strong sense of community and belonging, the appeal of self-improvement and moral. No, I agree with that 100%. And I think that's one of the strengths of Freemasonry. There is a double-edged sword to it. There's no question. Um, Very interesting. I'm going to share this on my socials, I think. See if I can find the initial post. There it is. Just to see what other people think of it. I think it's a very interesting idea. But yeah, one of the double-edged swords of Freemasonry, I truly believe, is that it is both like how do we put this? It's one of those things where, yes, because we don't solicit membership or recruit, we expect people to join of their own free will and accord. The benefits of that is it does fight back against this idea of like it's a cult and it's an obvious response to that because we're not recruiting people, we're not, we're relying on people to accept. But the double-edged sword of that, the danger of it is it's very easy to then for Masons to feel like um okay, since we're not able to recruit, I can't even talk to people about Freemasonry, or I can't even talk to people about why I love Freemasonry or why I think it's a good thing, um, or why I love it, right? And there has been a lot of work recently in Masonic circles to try and push back against this idea of never soliciting and this idea of what is improper versus proper solicitation. Um, and so I think there's an interesting balance. They do a better job than Scientology and Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, I think the one thing you need to keep in mind, though, when you're talking about what is a good job, what isn't a good job, right, is Scientology and Jehovah's Witnesses, to my understanding, are religions. I believe Scientology calls itself a religion. I'm not sure what the definition is, but Freemasonry, right, is not a religion. It's a civic group. It's a civic organization. Because it's a civic organization, it is. There's different kind of approaches that it's going to take, right? But I do think overall, one area where Freemasonry has kind of, to speak only for myself, Freemasonry has kind of dropped the ball a little bit, is Freemasonry and its focus on um, improper solicitation. I think Freemasonry and its focus on not recruiting resulted in a fear of even talking about it with people. And because of that fear of even talking about it with people, it resulted in um, being afraid to talk about it meant less people knew about it and knew the good things about it, which meant less people were interested in joining. And since 1959, we've had steady declines in membership year on year. So when you say they do a good job, we could probably do a better job in some areas. Almost certainly, I think we could do a better job in some areas. There's always room for improvement. And I think one of the areas we need to improve on is being more willing to talk about things and discuss things with other people and talk about why we love Freemasonry, why we think it's important, and be more willing to do stuff online and through social media for the same reasons. In the meantime, though, as always, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. You can support us on Patreon, all that good stuff. We will be talking about cryptocurrency today because I'm trying to get ready for an interview I have this weekend, and cryptocurrency is going to be kind of the discussion on that. Well, of course, there's always room for improvement. The problem is all the disinformation about Freemasonry and those crazy Christian conspirators. That is a problem, although I would point out it's all the conspirators in general. Many do, and I have found this on social media, many do have a tendency to wrap their conspiracies in kind of Christian language, but there are many conspiracies who are not, or conspirators who are not themselves Christian as well, who tend to wrap it more in other types of language, though you definitely see Christian conspiracies relate to Freemasonry all the time. And I think going back to what you're saying, Tomac, one of the things to keep in mind, right, is the louder we are, when I say we, I mean me, the quieter everybody else kind of is. So if the negative views of Freemasonry, if people are saying those things online, then one of the things that's going to happen is everybody else is going to say negative things online as well. Or if only thing that's online is negative, then the positive views of Freemasonry are not going to get out there either, right? And I think that's a really dangerous thing. I think we need to be willing to talk, because the negative talk of Freemasonry is going to be out there no matter what. So we have a responsibility to try to be louder ourselves and talk more to people, if that makes any sense. Because unfortunately, you can't do much about the negative people out there, right? Except be positive ourselves and try to demonstrate why we think Freemasonry is a good thing, and hopefully that can help other people recognize why it's a good thing as well, and recognize those conspiracy people do not know what they're talking about. And like I said, I'm going to have to cut this interview. I'm going to basically do 2 live streams today because I have to run and take care of a couple errands this afternoon. So I'm going to do this stream now, then take off for probably an hour, give or take, and then do another stream this afternoon around who knows what time. Maybe I'll even do like a late stream just because I enjoy doing those a lot. And it can be a lot of fun. I do those with the movies. This Saturday, Requiem for a Dream. I hope everybody, though, is doing well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, answer our poll question, and probably in about another hour, I'm going to start talking specifically about today's topic, which is Freemasonry and cryptocurrency. I don't know a ton about it. I'm going to do an interview with Hydrogen Investing where I'm going to learn a lot more. This is just kind of my thoughts and my ideas on this subject. In the meantime, please, as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know what it is that you guys want to talk about while we hang out and wait for people to join. And then, like I said, we'll get into our topic today. And don't forget to follow us on all of our different social media sites as well. That would be much appreciated. As always, thank you so much to my friend for sharing the information about the Michigan Masons. So the Michigan, let's see what it is. In Michigan, they are considering launching a signature Michigan Masons credit card and offering membership with a signature federal credit union. Your feedback is crucial in shaping these offerings. Please take a moment to share your level of interest. And also, on a side note, today is the first day of advanced or early voting. To my knowledge, they actually have it right in my building, which is wonderful, in the lobby. So I'm going to be doing that today as well, which will be nice to get that out of the way. You should always vote early, is what they always taught me. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. We're here today to chat about Freemasonry. Every day, or Monday through Friday, I do these at 1 p.m. Today, we're going to talk about Freemasonry and cryptocurrency. All right. We're going to give it another, let's see, 5 minutes. We're going to see who else joins us. Then we're going to start once again chatting about and talking about Freemasonry and cryptocurrency. Very little I know about it. I'm not going to lie, but I do have at least some thoughts and ideas. I know much more about Freemasonry than I do about cryptocurrency, but I do want to talk a little bit about it, primarily because in this weekend I have an interview with High Altitude Investing where we're going to talk about Freemasonry. And cryptocurrency and the benefits and the potential dangers of the same. So let's give it a few minutes. We'll see who joins. Maybe we'll start at the 45-minute in mark. And once again, I'm going to be doing 2 streams today, so that's going to be fun because I do have to head out at some point, but then I'll come back and maybe by that point I should finally have my laptop back up and running. I can do a live stream from my laptop again. And as always, let me know how it is you guys are doing. Just because I kind of pick topics, today's topic being cryptocurrency and Freemasonry, doesn't mean that that's all we have to chat about. I'm always happy to hear what you guys want to talk about as well. And maybe if you're pro Freemasonry, that's great. If you are a Freemason, maybe you have concerns about some of the steps that Freemasonry is taking. If you are against Freemasonry or you have negative views of Freemasonry, that's okay too. It'd still be fun to chat with you guys and learn about why you have those more negative views. How potentially I can maybe change your minds a little bit or get you to view Freemasonry in a different way. So I think I'm going to start talking about it in the 5-minute mark. We had some people join at the start. I don't know if they're still there. Russian Republican, if you're still there, that's awesome. Pickles, frustrated daily driver, some new people on the stream. Um, it'd be great to hear from you guys once again and what it is that you guys want to chat about. I'm just waiting to, like I said, see if anybody else jumps on, and then we'll start the discussion. I am not an expert on, well, I mean, I should be clear, I suppose. I'm not an expert on anything. I've been a Freemason since 2007. I think I've learned enough about it that I can talk, especially the esoteric side of it is still something I'm working on. But I mean, I don't like to use this because both are practical, but the administrative, practical side of Freemasonry and why Freemasonry is good for the world, I do think I'm very well versed in those things, having been a past master and a current master for many years. And I think I'm able to discuss those things well, as well as some general historical information about Freemasonry. And then when it comes to cryptocurrency, I'm definitely not an expert in that at all. But I can potentially provide some general information that may be of assistance. Dark Pixel, or that may help us think about the ways in which Freemasonry can benefit from an engagement with cryptocurrency, as well as the potential dangers therein. Core is back. Welcome back, Core. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming back. And Dark Pixel, yo, I came back. Thank you for coming back as well. Core, I hope that you are doing well. Just so you know, I will be doing, I don't know if you saw it, but I will be doing another live stream Saturday, this time 10 p.m. Eastern, not midnight, but it's going to be watching Requiem for a Dream, which is going to be a lot of fun. This live stream, I'm going to potentially cut out a little bit early, but I may do a second live stream tonight just because I have some errands I have to run this afternoon. But I hope that you are doing well. Awesome. It's one of my favorites too. It's funny to say that because it's such a, it's such a spoilers, right? It's such a depressing kind of movie, I think, in some ways. But having said that, I do think you can even tie it into Freemasonry a little bit if you wanted. It does kind of show the importance of connection, the importance of having people who can be there for you in a positive way. One of the insights I saw about Requiem for a Dream from somebody on YouTube reviewing it was they said, one of the arguments they said is really that what that movie shows is a lack of connection. And when we aren't connected to each other, at least in healthy ways, or when we're isolated or alone, it's easier for us to fall into traps related to different types of addictions, whether it be addictions to illegal substances, or prescription pills, or television, right? The infomercial guy, the juice by whoever he is, right? So, maybe if some of those people doesn't have to be Freemasonry per se, but had Freemasonry or some other group organization in their lives, they might have potentially had better outcomes. Who knows? But it is a great movie, and I still call it a scary movie. I think it's a horror movie, more so than anything else, in my humble opinion. People need people. They do. Unfortunately, I kind of sometimes wish people didn't need people, or at least I didn't need people, because people can be frustrating. But I agree with you. People do still need people. Unfortunately, for better or worse. Oh, okay. I think, just so everybody knows, I finally got my laptop back up and running properly. So I'm going to try this evening to do a live stream from my laptop again. Finally, I can get back to it because I prefer to do it from my laptop. Love the pink shirt. So first of all, Dark Pixel. Some people came in and now my village, there's 7 meters of snow. I'm glad there's not 12 anymore like there was yesterday. So I'm very happy about that. Um, so that's great to hear. So I don't know if you saw on social media, I posted yesterday was Pink Shirt Day. I used to, I guess, not celebrate, but observe Pink Shirt Day back in my old job. They used to have us wear pink shirts every February 26th. It was actually started, it's an international day against bullying. It started in Nova Scotia when, here in Canada, when there was a new kid showed up to school. He was wearing a pink shirt. A couple bullies made fun of him. And so the next day, everybody else in the school wore a pink shirt, um, and a show of solidarity. Hence, Pink Shirt Day. And I always loved that because what I love about it is, you know, most of the time I find when you have um, like anti-bullying initiatives, it's either addressed to the bullies saying, hey, don't be a bully, or it's addressed to the bullied, either telling them, stand up for yourself and toughen up, or it'll get better. But rarely is it addressed to kind of the bystanders or the people just around, and actually having a message for them, which is how Pink Shirt Day started, which is saying if you see bullying taking place, you can take steps to deal with it, to comfort or support the bullied, and send a message to the bullier by doing something as simple as everybody wearing a pink shirt, right? Nobody got in the bully's face, nobody approached anybody, they just all showed up the next day in a pink shirt. And that apparently stopped the bullying from taking place. So Pink Shirt Day, and I talked yesterday about what Freemasonry or Freemasons could do to support um, Pink Shirt Day, such as provide donations to the Boys and Girls Clubs and Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, which are connected to Pink Shirt Day, or everybody wear a piece of pink clothing into the into school, or sorry, everywhere piece of pink clothing into lodge. If your lodge is the type that has a dress code, maybe everybody buys a pink tie, or if you don't have a dress code in your lodge, and even better, you can all just wear a pink shirt or purchase pink shirts to wear. You can put a social media post out about Pink Shirt Day from your lodge, or you can put something in your summons or trestle board about anti-bullying. Or, you know what, again, even just approach somebody who you think might be struggling and ask them how they're doing. None of that stuff can hurt. Okay, so do you think there's a possible benefit in Freemasons or Freemasonry engaging with cryptocurrency? Unsure, 56%, no, 22%, yes, 22%. So the unsure is still in the lead, which I'm happy about because I think usually saying I don't know is the best answer that you can give to most things in life. Um, no, and then yes. So interesting. And no, when I say engage, there's different ways of engagement, and I purposefully kept engagement and engaging very vague, because I want people to kind of input their own ideas into what is meant by engagement. That's beautiful. Nonviolent resistance. Yeah, nonviolent resistance is always a good thing. I'm not saying there aren't times when you maybe gotta get in somebody's face a little bit, and that's okay. But as a rule, you should always try to, in my opinion, you should always try to find the nonviolent approach first. I agree with anti-bullying, but I don't have a pink shirt. Well, so long as you agree with the sentiment, I think that's what matters more than anything else. I'm just lucky. I love the color pink because my second favorite professional wrestler of all time, Bret the Hitman Hart, he wore pink. And growing up, he was my favorite of all time. So now it's switched over to John Cena, who I think they're going to turn into a heel soon, which is interesting. So I, by the way, was saying next week I'm going to be doing some streams where it's going to be exclusively for Patreon members. First, I'm going to do a stream where it's exclusive for the paid members of Patreon, then a stream where it's exclusive to members of Patreon, whether it's at the free level or paid level, and then just back to the regular just back to the regular 1 p.m. stream after that. So I'm not sure how it's going to go. It's going to be my first time doing it. The suggestion was from my good friend Courtney, so we're going to see how that works. We're still at the unsure, 56% yes and no. Looks like I'd say 5, 2, and 2. 5 for unsure, 2 for yes, 2 for no. I have 2. Who are your 2 favorite wrestlers? I'd love to know. Mine, in case I was curious, just we'll give it another 10 minutes maybe to see who else shows up. My Mount Rushmore would be John Cena, Bret Hart. Oh God, then it gets super tough. Oh my God, Stone Cold and Andre the Giant. Rhea Ripley, great choices. Both of those are class picks. There's been, interestingly enough, been a few professional wrestlers over the years who are Freemasons. Damian Sandow has talked about it quite openly, and who was with WWE, and there was a professional wrestler named King Cobra. He was out of out of Kentucky, Southern wrestler. He was actually a funeral director, or he worked in the funeral services. So I guess he was Paul Bearer before Paul Bearer, and he was also a wrestler. Went by the name King Cobra. So I thought that was really cool. I've actually shared in the past some information about him on the stream. Did some interviews with people about that. So I thought that was really cool as well. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Let me know how it's going and what it is that you guys want to talk about. We are going to chat today about Freemasonry engaging with cryptocurrency. I'm doing this in preparation a little bit for an interview I have coming up this weekend with one of our members of the stream. But then, yeah, we will go from there. I really hate Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. Well, you're supposed to hate them, right? That's the whole point. It wasn't bullying, but we're working at CO. It's called Dirty Hair with the fastest shifting spanner. Well, your name was Harry, and at the time, right? That was during the Dirty Harry movies of Clint Eastwood. So I think everybody probably, I'm going to be willing to bet, everybody who had the name Harry probably was also called Dirty Harry at that time. So I'm sure you weren't alone, although the fastest shifting spanner, I have no clue what a shifting spanner even is. But I'm sure it was, in fact, the fastest shifting spanner in the West. So I have no doubt, sir, that you were the fastest shifting spanner, whatever that means, if it's a good thing. If it's a bad thing to be the fastest shifting spanner, then I'm very sorry about that. I guarantee it was. There you go. So we're going to say it was a good thing. I hope that everybody is doing well. If you're just joining us, please don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are here today to chat about Freemasonry. I do this every day. I'm assuming it's an adjustable wrench. Like that is what, when I hear the word shifting spanner, my assumption is adjustable wrench. But okay, Dad. See, but even Michael Moore had the question mark. I feel like spanner is like a British term for wrench because I've never heard. I've used a wrench to fix my wheelchair. I just got new tires on the chair, by the way. I've never heard a wrench called a spanner, but that must be a British thing. British people talk funny, they have weird words for things. It's one of those things where there's not much you can do about it. When I was 12, I would keep getting bullied at school because my leg was broken. I had to go with the wheelchair. Well, I mean, I do feel your pain a little bit because I myself am in a wheelchair, but I was born missing my legs. So I was using a wheelchair. When I was really young, I used artificial legs, actually. And then I switched over to my wheelchair. I definitely prefer a wheelchair to an artificial leg, but kids will find anything, right, when you're younger to kind of bully or make fun of. But I'm glad that you recovered. And I'm sure that you probably got pretty quick in that wheelchair over time. So, good for, I've known a lot of people who break their leg, end up in a wheelchair. And when they first get on it, they're kind of crummy at it, not very good at it. And then as time goes on, they get significantly better. And by the end of it, they're doing wheelies and racing down the hallways. And as soon as they get good at it, they get out of the wheelchair and the leg heals, ironically enough. That's usually how it goes. I'm guessing that, all right, so maybe, because I said I'd want to get it started soon. So maybe we'll talk a little bit now or start on the discussion about Freemasonry and Freemasonry engaging in the cryptocurrency sphere or engaging with cryptocurrency. But once again, anything that you guys want to chat about. But then when I recovered, the bully broke both of, geez, talk about karma. But I treated him like he never bullied me. Good for you. That's, I think, the right way to do it. Sometimes killing people with kindness is absolutely the best approach. So good for you. And I'm sure, hopefully, your bully learned a valuable lesson about karma and maybe not being a jerk. Because I do believe, we talk about this a little bit in Freemasonry, the idea of the supreme being favoring virtue. I do think karma is a thing. I don't believe there's necessarily a supreme being up there kind of pulling strings and forcing people, or like keeping a list of like, this guy was a jerk, so now. But I do think, if you're putting out enough negative things in the universe, then negative things are going to come back at you. Or karma doesn't always have to be negative things. Karma can just be if you're being foolish and stupid, maybe even with the best of intentions. But if you're being foolish and stupid, then sooner or later, foolish and stupid things are going to come back and find you. So what is the phrase? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's very true. All right, so cryptocurrency, and anybody can jump in. I don't pretend to be an expert on any of this stuff. I do view myself as somewhat of an expert on Freemasonry, though not as much, certainly, as others. There's plenty I don't know. I don't claim to be an expert at all on cryptocurrency, but I do think there is the potential, and it's fascinating potential, for Freemasonry to engage with and take advantage of the cryptocurrency space. And I think it's worth exploring. Interesting enough, for the 9 votes we had on this topic, looks like the question, do you think there's a possible benefit in Freemasons or Freemasonry engage in cryptocurrency? Unsure, 56%. So unsure is still in the lead, which I think is good. I think I don't know is usually the best answer in life, more often than not. No at 2 votes, yes at 2 votes, unsure at 5 votes. All right, so cryptocurrency, sometimes called cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency with a hyphen, is a form of currency that exists digitally or virtually and uses cryptography to secure transactions. I'm getting this, by the way, from a Kaspersky article. Cryptocurrencies don't have a central issuing or regulatory authority, instead using a decentralized system to record transactions and issue new units. And so I think that right there is an example of why the cryptocurrency both has opportunities as well as dangers. One of those dangers is because there is no central issuing or regulated authority. The key is no central issuing or no regulating authority. Because there's no regulating authority, that does mean it potentially could be more risky in terms of things like losses, a lack of insurance, no deposit insurance, easier to have things like rug pulls, easier to have things like extreme variability in value, to my understanding. Cryptocurrency is a digital payment system that doesn't rely on banks to verify transactions. Again, the lack of verification. It's a peer-to-peer system that can enable anyone, anywhere to send and receive payments. That may provide opportunities or benefits instead of needing to rely on checks or needing to rely on e-transfers with a specific bank. You now have more options and potentially an easier way to send money. For example, to make a bill payment or to pay your junior warden for refreshments. Cryptocurrency, instead of being physical money carried around and exchanged in the real world, cryptocurrency payments exist purely as digital entries to an online database describing specific transactions. When you transfer cryptocurrency funds, the transactions are recorded in a public ledger. Cryptocurrency is stored in digital wallets. Cryptocurrency received its name because it uses encryption, crypto encryption, to verify transactions. This means advanced coding is involved in storing and transmitting cryptocurrency data between two wallets and two public ledgers. Between wallets and two public ledgers. The aim of encryption is to provide security and safety. The first cryptocurrency was Bitcoin, which we've talked about, or has been talked about by many people. Founded in 2009 and remains the best known today. You're lucky you have 2K subscribers. I only have 18. It took a lot of time and effort and work, and there's still plenty who have way more than me. But hopefully, Dark Pixel, you will grow more over time. And I wish you the best of luck. Cryptocurrencies run on a distributed public ledger called blockchain, a record of all transactions updated and held by currency holders. Units of cryptocurrency are created through a process called mining, which involves using computer power to solve complicated mathematical problems that generate coins. Users can also buy the currencies from brokers, then store and spend them using cryptographic wallets. If you own cryptocurrency, you don't own anything tangible. What you own is a key that allows you to move a record or unit of measurement from one person or another without a trusted third party. So again, you're not reliant on banks to move the money for you. Although Bitcoin has been around since 2009, cryptocurrencies and applications of blockchain and technology are still emerging in financial terms, and more uses are expected in the future. Transactions including bonds, stocks, and other financial assets could eventually be traded using technology. A digital currency, which is an alternative form of payment created using encryption algorithms. So that's the simple answer, right? The question is, again, what benefits could there be to Freemasonry? I think even here, and again, going more into the details this weekend with my interview, right? The benefits of it are, first of all, in terms of potentially as a payment system to collect dues, or as a way to pay a junior warden or somebody else for administrative costs. I sent you, it's with High Altitude Investing, who actually has his own YouTube channel. So that's going to be exciting. For how to value, let me actually just pull up the info. So he actually does two podcasts. He has one about Freemasonry he talks about, because he's a Freemason, and he has one particularly about cryptocurrencies and the positives and the negatives about it. Right, to me, the obvious potential benefits are simpler and easier ways to transfer money without having to rely on a third party, like a bank, for example, in terms of collecting and receiving money, as well as you potentially are not running the risk, because there's no central issuing authority, you're not running the risk of losing money to fees, bank fees, things of that nature. But the negative and the danger of it is, because there's no centralized authority and regulating authority, your money on your crypto, for example, isn't insured. So if it's lost, you don't get it back. Or if there's a rug pull, and also the variability of the values. So if you are relying on Bitcoin, for example, or other meme coin or other cryptos to make payments back and forth, you may, so let's use the recent Trump coin, for example. The name is Daylin, Daylin Anderson. So um, let's say my dues are $140 a year, my Masonic dues, and I decide to pay using the Trump coin that was recently, that was in the news, the Trump cryptocurrency. Well, when that started, one Trump coin was worth $70 US, which meant I could pay two Trump coins and that would cover the cost of my dues. But that was, a week ago. Then 3 days later or something, it was worth 1 penny. One Trump coin was worth 1 cent. So the value dropped so much that now I've paid the lodge 2 cents basically, or what the value of it is 2 cents. So the value can be so speculative. I think that can create a real danger in terms of how much you're actually paying, right? And most of these coins, to my knowledge, don't end up ever making any money back. You end up losing millions in value. So I think that is another one of those potential dangers. Scott Cooley, I sent you that link I was supposed to send you. Let's see. Thank you so much. By the way, Scott, please hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Answer our poll question. And if you get the chance, Scott, I'm hoping potentially you will support us through Patreon. Oh, Chang Su. Okay. I will check it out for sure. Thank you so much. But please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And if you get the chance, I hope that you will check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/growingcompass, right? The other potential benefits of engagement. Oh, actually, interesting enough. Do you think there's a possible benefit in Freemasons or Freemasonry engagement cryptocurrency? Unsure, 50%, no, 30%, yes, 20%. So 5 for unsure, 3 for no, 2 for yes. The other potential benefit is, and I think this is worth keeping in mind as well, is publicity, right? Because, for example, many token launches, right? Advertising your tokens can be used by businesses and companies and groups as a way, not even necessarily to make money per se, but as a way to promote themselves, promote their business, promote their corporation, their group. Oftentimes token coins are more about that than actually, same thing with an NFT. Sometimes an NFT is launched more as a marketing strategy than a desire to make money. Megaphone Telephone. Hello, Megaphone Telephone. Thank you so much for joining us. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing and let me know what it is that you want to chat about. So every day, Megaphone Telephone, I do these Monday through Friday. I do these streams at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about Freemasonry. We talk about different areas of Freemasonry, different topics. Usually the first hour is just anybody can ask me anything they want to talk about related to Freemasonry, good, bad, and different. I've been a Freemason since 2007, so I try to provide my insights. Then the second hour, I usually have a particular topic. In this case, it's Freemasonry engaging the crypto sphere, whether that's a good thing or bad thing or what we think about it. And then we switch back to just any general conversation. So Megaphone Telephone, I'm hoping you will hit like and subscribe, and also let me know how you came across our stream, and if you have any knowledge or information or questions, I should say, about Freemasonry, I can try to answer them, or maybe any thoughts on crypto, and I can at least try to address them. I'm not an expert on either of those fields, but I have been a Freemason since 2007, and I do like to think I know a fair bit, or at least I have insights and my thoughts on Freemasonry. But as always, please like, please subscribe. Answer our poll question. Do you think there's a possible benefit in Freemasons or Freemasonry cryptocurrency? 11 votes. Looks like it's 6 unsure. Or sorry, 5 unsure, 3 no, and 3 yeses. Right? And so token launches, once again, it's about launching cryptocurrency. There could be potential publicity benefits, right? If we market it well as a Masonic group, or if a Masonic group markets it well, that could bring more information or more eyes to Freemasonry, right? So I found an article here. In brief existence, blockchain projects, Bitcoin, etc., have come up with a variety of different ways to launch and sell tokens. Some pull from old auction styles. Some build on the idea of crowdfunding. Others strive for different fair approaches. But the one thing that remains constant in all this is that a careful plan and good execution are key. Without a good launch, you can tank an entire project, sometimes years in the making. I'm from the country, Georgia. We've had a few people from the country, Georgia here. One person who got like 12 meters of snow, they said. So welcome. Thank you for being here. There is Freemasonry in the country of Georgia, though it's something I know little about how Freemasonry in Georgia, like the Grand Lodge is there, or the extent to which it's active, or the extent to which it's involved in the culture. But I do know there is Freemasonry in Georgia. My brother has a YouTube. Awesome. I'm sure it's a great YouTube channel. A lot of people are on YouTube, so that's very cool. We've had somebody else, like I said, from the country of Georgia here who has a YouTube channel. So in real life, it's Alex. Awesome. Well, Megaphone, I'm hoping, like I said, you will hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Maybe follow us or support us through Patreon, patreon.com/square and compass. So let's say Freemasons let's say Masonic jurisdiction, because you would need dispensation to do this through a lodge, and I don't know if you get dispensation, to be honest. But let's say a jurisdiction were interested in doing a token launch, right? A token launch is the technical generation of a token in a blockchain-based network and its launch on the market. In pure definition, right? So I'm a Masonic jurisdiction. I'm interested in creating a cryptocurrency token. And as a consequence of that, I decide to launch a token because I want to get more people interested in Freemasonry, more people interested in my Masonic lodge, or my Masonic bodies, or Freemasonry in general. What are the possible benefits? I would think, for example, publicity, potential financial gain. What are the possible challenges? Loss of value. And again, depending on how successful or not successful the token launch is, you could end up in a situation where people end up having a more negative view of Freemasonry because the token launch didn't go well. I will be right back in just 1 second. I'm just making a quick note here. Or at a All right. So I think, again, there is those benefits as well as, see, because here it notes, right? They get so interesting because the goal is far more than to simply have a token on the market. Having your token that no one notices, well, does a token launch if no one buys it or even notice? Token launches are important to gain publicity and engagement in crypto communities, ultimately to raise funds or an interest in the future of the project. So again, can we use as Freemasonry as a Masonic jurisdiction a cryptocurrency token launch as a way to raise funds and interest for the future of Freemasonry in that jurisdiction? Right? Obviously, this can change depending on the token, the nature of the cryptocurrency. A meme coin, for example, often won't have a fully fledged project to fund in the future. Rather, the launch itself is often the culmination, climax, or for many, the finish of these projects. But for other, token launches are just the beginning. And pulling off your token launch impeccably will dictate whether or not your project will have funds to grow. So if a jurisdiction wants to engage in a project, for example, wants to build a new Masonic home for somebody, or build a new Masonic home for the elderly, or engage in some of charitable endeavors, can they do so through launching a Masonic meme coin or Masonic crypto coin, right? So pre-2007, you had what's called pre-mines, referring to a portion of coins or tokens that have already been mined and distributed before the official launch date. Pre-mined crypto is often used to reward devs, team members, or early adopters, developers. As a proof of investors, the coin token is functional. Right. The first Ether, which is a type of cryptocurrency, were offered as pre-mined rewards to people who funded projects during its initial coin exchange, July and August of 2014. Right. Trying to find here the marketing is generally the most important part of the token launch and the future of the project. In fact, back in the day, it was the single most important marketing event for most projects. As we're past the ICO craze of 2017, initial coin offering, I came back. My mom called me. Welcome back, Dark Pixel. Looks like your sister or brother is on Megaphone Telephone. Looks like we both got you there. This is changing a bit with longevity of projects more at the forefront. So what does marketing actually do for a token launch, though? So again, if a Masonic jurisdiction wanted to create its own version of a cryptocurrency or a meme coin, what does the token launch do for it? Community reputation. A good token launch has a solid community and good reputation in that community. This starts far before the actual launch and carries on after, boosting your marketing efforts. Collaborations, partnerships, and endorsements are important in this space. Marketing will help you land the right partnerships, but they can also be used to grow your audience by getting your partners to share your news with the community as well. Visibility, again, visibility for a Masonic connection. You only token launch once, so do it well. If it doesn't go over so well, it can kill your project, so take time to make sure you plan it well from the beginning to the actual launch. This will also help you even beyond to build your brand awareness and dominance in the space. So again, well, Megaphone, Telephone, I think it sounds like you should not be on here. Dark Pixel, you as well. So again, I think what's so interesting about this, right? You talk about Freemasonry and what Freemasonry needs to grow, to be successful. Well, what it needs is, I would say, community reputation. It needs to have a good community reputation. It needs to have collaboration with community groups, and it needs to have visibility. And that is something that a token launch can improve or engage with. A good token launch in being involved in the cryptocurrency space can improve a group's community reputation. It can result in increasing and more profitable collaborations. When I say profitable, I mean profitable both financially as well as just beneficial, and visibility. In fact, I'm going to make that the next poll question. Actually, once I close this one. So give me 1 second. We're going to do another poll. What do you think is the most important thing for Freemasonry 25? It's like reputation, collaboration, or just give me 1 second, or visibility. All right. Let me know in the chat or which of these three, because these are all things that, again, engaging with cryptocurrency can and tokens can potentially do for Freemasonry. Right? So when I talked about engaging with in crypto, there's kind of two approaches. The first is using crypto as a financial tool to make or receive payments as well. So that's the first way. And I think for that perspective, the benefits of it are you're not going to have to deal with bank fees when you're transferring money, or as related to just even saving and growing money or growing your wealth. The danger of it is the value of it can be so variable that you can accept payment via cryptocurrency, and that payment can be worth $100 on day one, and then on day two it's worth 5 cents, right? The value of it varies so much. The other potential challenge of using cryptocurrency as a type of financial tool to make and receive payments is the people making and receiving the payments will need to have the specialized skills or knowledge to use the cryptocurrency in that way. Most Masons, I think, don't. Most Masons, honestly, don't even have the capabilities of internet banking yet, for many of them. Then, I would say on the other side of it, the second engagement type is as a wealth growing thing, as just an investment. And obviously the benefit of that is, again, it can grow in value. And there are many people who have made significant amounts of money through investing in cryptocurrency. But the dangers is, first, you need somebody who can follow it closely and who is well versed in those types of investments. You also need somebody you also need to recognize it is variable. So the value of it could drop significantly over time. And the other danger is, because it's not regulated, cryptocurrencies are not, to my understanding, insured in the same way a deposit is. So if you have $5 million in the bank and the bank goes under, that money should be insured by a central authority and you should get that deposit money back. If you have $5 million worth of crypto and something happens to the coin and you lose all of that value, you're not insured. You can't get it back in the same way. So that's the second potential way in which I think Freemasonry can engage with crypto. And the third way Freemasonry can engage with crypto is if a Masonic jurisdiction or Masonic group were to decide to create its own cryptocurrency and its own tokens. And the potential benefit of that is through a token launch. If it's done well and correctly, you could see positive results or an increase in community reputation, collaborations, and visibility, as well as the potential to make funds as it relates to any type of project that the lodge wants to do or hopes to do. The dangers of it, though, right, is if it doesn't go well, then it's the exact opposite. If you have a poor crypto launch, you end up with poor community reputation. The visibility may be increased, but in a negative way. More people see Freemasonry in a negative light. And you maybe if you partner with somebody, now the partner feels burned and is less likely to trust Freemasonry or Freemasons in the future. Token launches generate a lot of interest because it's a way to break the closed investment system that leaves access typically open to the upper echelon, both in terms of individual wealth and projects with enough wealth to enter these markets. So again, you can have people entering a token launch who maybe aren't rich, don't have a lot of wealth, but can be involved with it nonetheless. This means that a token launch, open source projects were and are able to fundraise in a similar model as the more closed capitalistic systems to help them raise capital to build. But as an investment tool with value embedded in the protocol through the token launches and the subsequent activity also feel the pulls and sways of speculation. This led to the aforementioned ICO craze of 2017, where many projects were able to raise substantial funds without having to prove they're capable of building anything. And still, you see some tokens launch with great success, only to be followed by a tank as investors pump and dump, making this risky both for investors and projects who rely on these funds raised and the value of the token. But markets are evolving though. So make sure you consider the project's goals and the type of launch that will help you achieve these goals and communicate your values to your community. I hope that helped answer, or at least give some people some interesting ideas as it relates to cryptocurrency, which we are, and potentially the ways in which Freemasons can engage with it. Again, not being an expert myself, I will be talking to an expert on this in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that episode, which should be released next week, I do believe, after my Stoic Dan interview. One vote. What do you think is the most important thing for Freemasonry in 2025? Collaboration, 100%. To the person who maybe answered collaboration, I'm curious if you could expand on that in the chat. If you're able, do you mean collaboration in terms of collaboration between Masonic groups and bodies, or collaboration between Masonic groups and other groups and community groups? Please let me know in the chat. And now we're just going to hang out a bit. And once again, we're at that part of the stream where anybody wants to jump on and talk about anything. Please let me know what it is that you want to talk about as it relates to Freemasonry. I always enjoy these parts of the stream where we just wait for people to hang out. Again, I'm going to be doing 2 streams today because I will have to take a break at some point in order to take care of a couple errands. But then I'll come back on tonight, especially since I think I finally got my laptop fixed. Fingers crossed, and I'll be able to do a stream from the laptop once again. And we'll see how that goes in terms of total attendance and involvement once again and all that good stuff. This afternoon stream will just be at Ask Us Anything. Courtney Duffy asked the question, is Freemasonry esoteric? Which is a good question in of itself. When we collaborate, the visibility and reputation naturally increases. I think we should cross-collaborate. It can benefit everyone in a multi-dimensional way. I would agree with that. I think that's absolutely 100% the case. And I think that is one of the, in my personal opinions, I speak only for myself, I don't speak for anybody else, that is one of the mistakes that Freemasonry has made over the years, especially, we're doing better now, but especially in the 60s, 70s, there tended to be this tendency, as near as I can see, to kind of lack collaboration, or to kind of turn to be more insular. I've said it before on the stream, right? I think that, and I've said this before in Medium, you cannot separate the success of a community from the success of a Masonic. You cannot separate the success of a community from the success of a, or sorry, how am I trying to say this? You cannot separate the success of a Masonic lodge from the success of the community in which it's located, right? And so if a Masonic lodge is going to be successful, the community in which it's located needs to be successful also, needs to have a strong economy, needs to be growing economically. And Freemasonry can assist with that and help make sure that people grow, that the community grows in those ways. I think that's 100% possible, and incredibly important to do so. But I think it's incredibly dangerous for Freemasonry and for Freemasons to become insular in themselves and not try to grow, not try to collaborate, right? Again, I think, it's like I said, you cannot separate the success of a Masonic lodge or Masonic body from the success of the community in which it's located. And collaborations can mean a lot of different things. Collaborations can mean, using local suppliers to fundraise for, or not using local suppliers, using local restaurants to provide refreshments for after dinner, or to provide after lodge refreshments or before lodge refreshments. When you have some type of special event, inviting local artists to perform. You can even do a thing where, and I've done this at the lodge, where if you have empty space, or not, like you have available wall space in your building, you can, in your Masonic building, you can offer to local artists to display their artwork, whatever the artwork might be. So there are so many different ways that Masons can collaborate with the community. Rent your space out for plays, theater groups, public functions, do all of that type of stuff, right? That stuff is so critical. And so necessary. And go out in the community as well, right? It's not just about you being in the community. It's not just about your lodge being in the community, it's about your lodge going out to the community. I think that's so critical and oftentimes very underappreciated. Courtney, no worries. It's just good to have you here. So we truly do appreciate it. And thank you so much for attending. I hope that you are doing well. And let me know how it's going. Cora says, hi, Courtney. Oh, we got 3 votes. 2 for community reputation, 1 for collaboration. Okay. The other thing to keep in mind is when it comes to collaboration, visibility, communicating in multiple languages might be valuable, right? If you are a Masonic body and you produce, let's say, pamphlets or flyers about Freemasonry or about your particular Masonic group, if you have, let's say, a large Spanish-speaking population or a large Mandarin-speaking population or a large French-speaking population in your community, it might be worth communicating in those languages as well. Do you have Braille or sign language in your building? So if people are blind, they're able to, know where they're going. Are you able to, do you have communications in Braille, for example? Do you have ritual books in Braille? Do you have your summons in Braille? And when you're producing stuff online, are you taking advantage of the economic, if you have social media posts, are you making sure to use alt language and accessible communication practices for those virtual posts and social media posts, right? That's a type of community reputation and collaboration and visibility, making sure you're visible to all of those, with all those things and to all those people. So that stuff is critical as well to think about. But welcome. Thank you so much, everybody who is here. I hope everybody is doing well. Please hit that like button and subscribe button. We were talking about Freemasonry and the ways that Freemasonry could potentially engage with the cryptocurrency sphere, both positively and negatively. The three kind of spheres, the three kind of subcategories for engagement I had was use as a tool to both receive and make payments, as a potential investment strategy for growing Masonic body's wealth, and as a token launch as a way to improve or engage with ideas around reputation, collaboration, visibility. If a Masonic jurisdiction were to, let's say, launch its own token as a way to improve its reputation, collaboration, visibility, as well as a way to fundraise for a specific project or projects or goals. Let me know what you think about those things potentially. And we are now at that stage again where it's anything we want to talk about. So anything that you guys want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, jump in the chat, say hello, answer a poll question, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, etc., etc. I just found a funny meme. A Mason is never late nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. As a um, as a Freemason, as a Masonic secretary, I should say, I would change that a little bit. I would say a Masonic lodge never starts late, nor does it start early. It starts exactly when the secretary says it does, which in the minutes is always 7:30 here in Windsor. Or in some cases 11 o'clock, I should say. But I hope that everybody is doing well. Please hit that like and subscribe button. As I was saying, I do have to take care of a few errands this afternoon, so I'm going to be doing 2 streams. I'll be cutting the stream off potentially in another hour or so, and then coming back tonight and doing another stream. And we'll see how that one goes, because I'm curious to see how a stream goes if I start it in the evening. I want to kind of test that out. So maybe right now most of my audience is on from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. because that's when I'm normally on. So it might be kind of fun to try something new and try a different time. And finally going back to the laptop, because I finally got it fixed, I do believe. Cameron, what's today's topic? We were talking about cryptocurrency, the positives and the negatives, the opportunities for Freemasonry. As I was saying, I think there are 3 kind of subcategories, and I'm going to be talking more about this with high altitude investing over the weekend, but the 3 ways that we can kind of chat about this or talk about this is Freemasons using cryptocurrency as a payment, as a method to both receive and make payments. Receive dues, pay junior wardens, things of that nature. The second way was as a way to build wealth through potential investments. And the third as a way, as something where you can create your own token. Our Masonic jurisdiction can create a token as a way to build its visibility, collaborations, and community reputation, and fundraise for a specific project or projects. Same thing with an NFT, you could put it in that category, right? Launching an NFT as a way to do all of the above. So there are positives, there are negatives. The unregulated nature of it means you don't have to pay things like bank fees, but you're at risk of losing everything. The variability of its value means you can potentially make a great deal of money and grow your wealth, but you can also lose it. And that also makes it very difficult when it comes to accepting and giving payments, because you can accept a crypto payment, and that crypto payment can be worth $500 US, only for the next day, that same, so let's say you accept a payment of 10 coins. Those 10 coins are worth $500 on Monday. By Tuesday, those 10 coins could be worth $5, 5 cents in some cases, like the Trump coin. So you need to keep that in mind as well. So and then with the token launch, it's great if it goes well, but what if it doesn't go well, right? And so then you've hurt your reputation. So this is something I'm going to be talking a lot more about with high altitude investing. The next episode that we have scheduled for release is the Stoic Dan episode. That's going to be released first on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. But then I believe the um, high altitude investing podcast should be released in the following week. So we'll keep up to date on that. And in the meantime, welcome to everybody who's just joining. As always, please hit that like and subscribe button. 4 votes. What do you think is the most important thing for Freemasonry in 2025? Community reputation, collaboration, visibility. Okay. So it looks like 2 for community reputation, 1 for collaboration, 1 for visibility. Evening stream will depend on lodge meetings and also what is on TV. Coronation Street. Well, no, Dad, don't miss Coronation Street. For heaven's sakes, you're a British man who lives in Canada, so I'm pretty sure the rule is you have to um, um, you have to watch Coronation Street. I think it's against the law if you don't watch Coronation Street, in point of fact. So make sure you watch that. I don't think, I mean, I do, because I do want to keep it consistent. I've been doing these streams Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. And so I don't want to be changing the times, but I do want to experiment with some other times. The thing I love about YouTube is how much you can experiment and try different things and see what works and what doesn't. That's also why I have my personal channel for the same reason. Spirit of Justice, I chose collaboration. Welcome, Spirit. Thank you so much for being here. If you can let me know why you picked collaboration, I'd love to know what your thoughts on that are. And it's great to have you here, Spirit. Once again, thank you so much for being here. As always, great to see you. To everybody watching this, once again, I did want to mention for my podcast on next week, I believe on Monday even, I'm going to be doing kind of a staggered stream. I'm going to be doing one stream, which is going to be exclusive for paid members of the Patreon channel or the Patreon account, and then a second stream after that for free members or for all members of Patreon, whether you're paid level or free level. And then the third one, it's going to be for everybody once again, just on YouTube. So I think 10 o'clock, so I think it's going to start 11. Let me see if I can do this. I think it's going to start 11:30 to 12 will be for the paid, or 11:30 to 12:30 will be for the paid Patreon members. 12:30 to 1 will be for all Patreon members. And then after that, it's going to switch over to the regular YouTube, and anybody can jump on. But I do want to make sure I'm taking a few moments to exclusively through Patreon thank everybody who is a member, both those who are paid members, thank you so much, and those who are the free members. That helps out a lot too. So thank you for that. And then go back to this stream. So thank you so much, everybody who is here. Let me know how it's going, and let me know what it is that you want to chat about. And Spirit of Justice, you can let me know maybe why you chose collaboration. I would truly, truly appreciate it. And interesting, we're up to 5 votes now. What do you think is the most important thing for Freemasonry in 2025? 2 for community reputation, 2 for collaboration, 1 for visibility, it looks like. So I just think our biggest problem is division amongst irregular, recognized, and unrecognized. That's interesting. So, first of all, Spirit, I absolutely don't disagree with you. Um, I think you're 100% correct on that one. But it's interesting you went with that approach to it. Because when I was thinking collaboration, it's interesting. I was thinking more in terms of like Masonic lodges, Masonic lodges collaborating, Masonic bodies collaborating with just the community at large and community groups. But it's interesting that you took the approach of collaboration within the craft. And I think there's a very good point to that. I think, you know, this is a very, very controversial statement amongst many people, but I have heard it said in the past, and I do kind of agree with it, Spirit. The rights kill the lodges. I mean, you will have guys who never show up to a Masonic Blue Room, but Masonic Blue Lodge or Craft Lodge, but will show up to Scottish Rite or York Rite religiously. The problem is, by not showing up to their craft lodge, they are killing that craft lodge, and the consequence of that is you end up with no you end up in a situation where, like, if the craft lodge dies, so too does um so too does the right, the Scottish Rite, the York Rite. Like, Scottish Rite, York Rite needs to be more supportive of the craft lodges and need to be more expecting that if you're involved in the craft, if you're involved in the rites, you're gonna show up for your craft lodge. You kind of have to. In terms of regular versus irregular, recognized or unrecognized, I agree with you with that as well. I think we do need to be more collaborative and open to the idea of, just because a Masonic body isn't quote unquote regular, that doesn't mean that there's nothing, that doesn't mean that they don't have a value to or for the craft. That doesn't mean there can't be something that they teach us and help us when it comes to the craft and when it comes to our lodges, right? I think one of the biggest challenges that we face, like, so a great example of this, the Order of Women Freemasons would probably be considered irregular, but they have taken part in many Masonic events, including Day of Masonry here in Ontario in 2000 and I think it was 23, and have been on my podcast, and they're a wonderful organization. So I do 100% agree with that. I'm still first degree, so you're speaking another language. So what I'd say, Spirit, is my advice to first degree Masons has always been, it's so important that you don't allow yourself to become overextended when you become a Master Mason. It's very tempting for people to join every rite. They join the York Rite, the Scottish Rite, the Shrine, etc., all as a way to, like, get as much of it out as they can. And then if they are part of all those things, plus they have work, plus family, you will burn yourself out and leave everything. Take your time and take your time and make sure you enjoy the journey. And my advice is I avoided joining the rites until I got to the East. Greetings, brother Courtney. Greetings to everybody who's joined us. Courtney is actually still in the application process, but it's still great to have him with us. He's a good friend of the channel and a very, very good dude. So thank you so much, Courtney, for being here. I'm glad. I hope that advice is good. It's been the advice that's been handed down to many people over the years. It was given to me. It's something that I did my best to accept. How do you navigate situations where your Masonic beliefs might conflict with your personal or professional life? So far, I've been lucky. I've never had that conflict. If Freemasonry is being done right, you shouldn't have that conflict. there should never be a time when Masonic beliefs, because there is no like Masonic belief. Well, my view, I've said this before, the Masonic belief is the world can be made better. The Masonic belief is the world can be made better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. That's at least my Masonic belief. And because that's my Masonic belief, I don't think there's ever any risk of that conflicting with my personal or professional lives. The conflict comes in time management and how do I find time to be both a professional, a Freemason, and a family man, and have a family or be a good neighbor, be a good friend, because each of these things takes time. That is a very real conflict, many experience. I'm trying to use Square and Compass promotions as a way to resolve those conflicts or resolve that conflict, but it is very much a challenge. Um, I will. All right, I'm going to try to. Oh, so interesting. Looks like 6 votes. Looks like two, two, and two. What do you think is the most important thing for Freemasonry in 2025? 2 votes for community reputation, 2 votes for collaboration, 2 votes for visibility. So there you go. It's interesting. Um, Personally, I would have thought visibility would have been a little bit higher, so I'm surprised that it's not. But to the people who voted, if you can let me know in the chat why you voted the way you did, I would be very curious and interested to know. So what drew me towards it was I had a family connection and I always assumed I would join. What made me stay in the craft is going back to what I said. I saw within it an opportunity to make the world a better place or to try and make the world a better place. And it's a fight. I mean, I think the best example I can give, and I've said this before, is this is what kind of keeps me in the craft, even though there are many times when I absolutely hate it. So there you go. Medium.com, thankful for the fight. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know what it is that you want to talk about. I will be ending this stream early, but then jumping on to another stream tonight. When I say early, probably still another half hour or so in. Or another hour or so, give or take. If you're just joining us, I do these streams every day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We talk about Freemasonry. Today we're talking about Freemasonry in the cryptosphere. If you are supportive of Freemasonry, if you like it, if you hate it, whatever it is, please let me know. And I will do my best to try to answer questions. I've been a Mason myself since 2007. But tonight I will be back on. I don't even know what time. It depends what things are going. But yeah, at some point tonight, I'm going to try just to see what an evening stream looks like. I know that I do these, because I do these Monday through Friday, 1 p.m., that's kind of when my audience, which I love all of you guys, is trained to be on. And it's truly appreciated. But I do want to try a evening stream just to see how that goes. And potentially whether or not it can be, whether or not it will find success and whether or not people are interested in watching a stream in the evening. Oh, another vote, it looks like. We have got visibility is one up, it looks like. So 7 votes. Visibility looks like it's at 3. Collaboration is at 2 votes. Community reputation is at 1 vote. And if you're just joining us, you've never been on this stream before, take a moment to jump in the chat and say hello as we talk about Freemasonry. And again, all of the different ways that we can chat about it. And maybe if you prefer an evening stream, you'll get your wish, because tonight we are going to do an evening stream. I'll give it a bit of time, a bit more time to see who else can join. Yes, absolutely, I have. And I don't honestly know even the best solutions to that problem. Look, here's because how would I describe burnout? Like so I talked about loving professional wrestling, and there's this book. I'll be right back, and I promise, Spirit of Justice, this is an answer to your question. Just give me 1 second to see if I can find the book. Yeah, there it is. Here it is. It's Bret Hitman Hart. I know it's reversed, but it's Bret Hitman Hart, my real life in the cartoon world of wrestling. It's a great book, by the way. Maybe one of the best wrestling books ever written. One of the best wrestling biographies ever written, and is written by Bret Hart himself. But anyways, he was in a feud with the British Bulldog, his second feud with the British Bulldog, and another wrestler. And British Bulldog was actually married to Bret Hart's sister, and they wanted to get the sister involved in the match, and so, or in the storyline leading up to the match. And so Bret Hart's sister said, "I'm just going to go into Vince McMahon at the time's office, and I'm going to say, use me however you want to advance this story. I'll do whatever you say." And Bret Hart said, "Don't say that to them. They'll make you shave your head and walk backwards like a chicken just because they know that they can make you do that, right?" And the reason I bring that up is, if you're you have to find a balance in Freemasonry, and you have to protect yourself. Because if you go into if you go in anywhere, to a Masonic lodge, though, work, whatever it is, and you say, "I will never say no, I will do whatever you want, I will volunteer for everything," they are going to keep putting more and more work on you and more pressure on you, because you're not protecting yourself, and you're letting yourself basically be taken advantage of. Right? You have to protect yourself, right? And so the rites is a great example of it. After you get your Master Mason degree, Scottish Rite, York Rite, these are all going to start approaching you, asking you if you want to join, and then asking you if you want to be an officer. And if you just keep saying yes to everything and don't set any boundaries, they're going to take advantage of you, because you're letting them, right? And you can't even blame them for doing it, right? It's like, if you're the guy who always says yes, well, of course they're going to come to you and make those requests, because you're the guy who always says yes. And that happens at workplaces, that happens at other groups. You have to be a little bit selfish, and you have to be protective of yourself and your time. Otherwise, they will take advantage, and you will burn yourself out. Now, there's a balance there, and that's critical, right? Because if you are too protective of yourself and you are too selfish, you end up hurting other people. So, for example, if I'm the worshipful master of my lodge, and I say, "You know what, I have to put myself first and be selfish, so I'm not going to show up to lodge. Well, then you've made it harder for everybody else because now they're scrambling to find a new worshipful master, especially if it's at the last minute. They are now having to work one man down, one person down. And so now you've hurt somebody else. And there's a cruelty in that as well, right? There's a cruelty to saying, I don't need to show up because I can rely on somebody else to do the work for me. I don't even have to give notice. I don't have to do anything to that extent. I can just rely on other people to show up and do the work for me, right? There's a cruelty to that, whether it's at a work or Freemasonry or anything else, right? Or I'm not really sick, but I'm going to call in sick because I have mental health challenges, or I'm just feeling down, and expecting someone else to cover your work and do your work for you without getting any benefit out of it, any more money, anything like that, whether it's at a job or in a Masonic context, right? So burnout is a consequence of two things. It's a consequence of an individual not setting the necessary boundaries and not being necessarily, not seeing that level of selfishness from self, while at the same time, that same Mason being so selfish that he ends up forcing his work onto others. Because if you love Freemasonry, it's kind of like doing a group project, right? If you're a member of a group and one member of the group decides he's not going to do anything and he's just going to, he's not going to do anything. He's going to take the grade, but he's not going to do the work. You basically forced the other members of that group to work harder to get a successful result, and that's going to burn those other members out. But at the same time, as I said, you need to find that balance, because if you become 100% dedicated to the group project at the expense of everything else in your life, you're going to burn out as well. I hope that made sense, Spirit. Let me know if it did. So, Spirit, I guess what I'd say is you need to find a balance. You need to be protective enough of yourself that you don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of, while at the same time, you need to recognize and understand that if you're not willing to make sacrifices, you're hurting other people and you're going to cause burnout in other individuals. And then it just cycles, right? I'm tired. I'm going to be selfish and take the night off, which means everybody else has to work harder. Now they're more tired. Now they burn out, and it just cycles on and on, right? The other way, I'd say one of the biggest tricks I've found to avoid burnout, and I've talked about this before, is find every day I try to find the things I love and try to find at least one thing in the day that went well, that I can honestly say I enjoyed. And I try to even write that down now. And I try to maintain outside interests and loves outside of Freemasonry, such as professional wrestling and scary movies. And coffee. I love coffee, right? If I don't do those things, then I find it becomes very, very challenging for me. And so what I'd say another way to avoid burnout is find things that you love outside of Freemasonry. And every day try to engage in at least one of those things. But yeah, I'm proud to say I've never been the guy who's shirked my Masonic responsibilities and forced other people to do them. But I have been the guy who said yes to everything and everybody, and that's where that burnout leads. So find the balance. Find that balance. That's key. All right. Thank you so much, everybody who's joined. If you're just joining, please hit the like and subscribe button. But that, again, that applies to work. That applies to everything, right? Like, don't, if you're at a job and every time your boss asks you to do anything, you say yes. Like if you're in a workplace and there's 3 people on your team and 2 of those people will always say no to every request from the boss, but the 3rd person always says yes, who is that boss always going to go to? Right? Person number 3. And that's going to lead to person number 3 getting burnt out. And part of that is on the fault of person number three for always saying yes, but also part of the blame goes to the two people who always said no, because they are putting all that extra work um, on the third person, especially if it's important, especially if the work matters. If the work genuinely matters, and maybe the one person who recognizes how much it matters is the person who always says yes, you're kind of putting that person in such a horrible position because it's like, there's this thing, it's important, I know it's important, but if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. That's a hell of a burden to put on somebody. So never be the person who always says no and puts the burden on other people. Many hands make light work. I hope, once again, anybody else who heard that, let me know what you thought of that, if you think it made sense. Um, if you understand what I was saying, if you've experienced burnout, it doesn't even have to be Masonic in life. It can just be if you've experienced burnout in your day-to-day lives, what was that experience for you like? I'd love to know. And how did you get out of it? And if you liked my Bret Hart reference, if anybody else heard that and enjoyed the Bret Hart reference, I'd love to know, because Bret Hart, my second favorite wrestler of all time. My favorite being John Cena. You know, there's lots of examples in professional wrestling. The term sometimes that gets thrown around is um, um, politicking, but in professional wrestling, there's all sorts of examples of professional wrestlers, for lack of a better term, protecting themselves, politicking, whatever you want to call it, and it gets kind of a bad rap, but it's so important. Cena, yes, Cena is 100% my favorite. I even got this tattoo because of John Cena, where it says the next one, because John Cena, whenever he would be asked um, what his favorite match was or favorite moment, he would always say the next one. And I loved that as an answer. And so now whenever anybody asks me what my favorite Masonic moment or favorite Masonic memory is, I always say the next one. So that is where I got that from. Cena's great. Cena, I think it's unfortunate sometimes the reputation that he gets. I think, like, I'll hear people talking or whatever it is about I think he's really good. I think he's really good in the ring too. He's a great storyteller. I'm a big Cena fan. So no LOL, no LOLing John Cena. What do you think was more thing for Masonry 2025? Still, 4 votes, 3 votes for visibility, 2 for collaboration, 2 for community reputation. All right, we'll give it a few more minutes. Then, like I said, I may be ending this stream maybe half an hour or so, but then I will jump on with a new stream tonight, because I do want to try and see how an evening stream works. And maybe I will try to do a thing instead of doing what I've been doing for the last little bit is 5 or 6 hour streams straight. But maybe if I do a 2.5 hour stream, then break, then another 2.5 hour stream, that might work better, especially since I always have to take a break anyways to go to the washroom. So, why not cut out the middleman kind of thing? I have experienced on burnouts with the publication, yet I still further my light. Good. I'm glad you still further your light. Sonic burnout is very real though, so you need to, and that might be actually worth the whole stream on. That might be worth a few hours worth of this stream on of talking about that and what Masonic burnout is, what it looks like, how we can potentially fight back against it or fight against it, all that good stuff. I think that might be 100% worth exploring. All right. Welcome, though. If you're just joining us, please hit he has a lot. I forget the exact number. I'd have to check that out. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button if you're just joining us. Let me know what it is that you guys want to chat about. We're at that stage in the stream where it's just genuine or just any questions that people have, any questions people want to explore as it relates to Freemasonry, please let me know. Res Vibe Connections. Welcome, Res Vibe Connections. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you want to chat about. What do they? So the they is, I think, I understand where you're coming from, Res, but I think with the word they that you're using, it's a little bit, it demonstrates one of the misconceptions about Freemasonry. So Freemasonry, there is no singular belief for Freemasons. What I believe as a Freemason may be different and will be different than what the next Freemason believes, even within my own lodge. There is no, because Freemasonry is not a religion, it's a fraternity, it's a civic organization. It'd be like asking, what does the Rotary Club believe in, right? There's no, I appreciate the question very much. And I do appreciate you being here as well. But a lot of people ask that question in terms of what do Freemasons believe in? Well, Freemasons believe in a multitude of different things and come from a multitude of different faiths. No different than, say, a Rotary Club or the Moose or the Elks, right? To be a Freemason, you need to believe in a supreme being, but we have Freemasons who are Muslim, Christian, Jewish, all the different Christian denominations, Catholic, Protestant, non-denominational, Anglican. We also have First Nations, Freemasons, Indigenous peoples, as well as Wiccan, Hindu. So old school they were. So Freemasonry, again, it's kind of like an umbrella term. It refers to groups that evolved from or originated with stone masons from the Middle Ages. So initially, there was no such thing as a Freemason. There were stone masons that did, build things out of stone and shape stone into walls and homes. And over time, they formed these guilds or trade unions. And over time, those trade unions began to welcome in Freemasons, such as myself, who were people who wanted to be part of these guilds for the social benefits, for the protections being part of a group offered financially, if you get sick, things like that, but didn't want to learn how to be stonemasons. And so now in 2025, there are still Masons that exist, obviously, who build things from stone and have those incredibly valuable skills and abilities. But you also have Freemasons and Masonic lodges, such as myself, who I can't build anything to save my life, not out of stone or anything else, but who is able to, we are part of this fraternal organization where we try to build a better world. But there is no singular Masonic belief beyond a belief in a supreme being, and what that supreme being is can and often does vary wildly Mason to Mason. Like I said, in our lodges, we have what's called a volume of the sacred law, but that volume of the sacred law, it can be, and I've seen it be a Bible, a Quran, a Torah. I've seen it be, I can't think of the name of it now, but a Hindu book, or a book about the Hindu faith. I've seen it be an eagle feather for a First Nations brother who was joining. So it can be all those things. Res, I wouldn't mind if I just say Res. I hope that that helps kind of answer your question and made sense. Let me know if it didn't, and I'll try to answer it again. But I hope that that made sense. And once again, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. I hope that you'll hit the like and subscribe button. And it's great having you join. I don't think you've been on the stream before, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm glad you found us. I'm not sure if it was found through the algorithm, but thank you for being here. And as always, I'm still taking questions. So anybody has any questions, please jump in the chat. Let me know what they are, and I will do my best to answer them. I've been a Freemason since 2007. I certainly don't claim to know everything. I absolutely don't know everything, but I at least like to provide my insights and my ideas as being both a Freemason and a fairly active Freemason. I would say one of the, in my opinion, one of the more active Freemasons. Active meaning amount of times I attend meetings, show up to meetings, things of that nature, take part in leadership functions and roles, etc., etc. Oh my gosh, I used to know this. Well, I mean, hundreds, right? Thousands, probably. An immense number, for lack of a better term. But then of that, there was like a certain number of craftsmen, certain number of entered apprentices, so different levels as well, but definitely an immense number, without question. $70,000, is that what, are you a council? I'm not sure what council master, I'm a worshipful master. I'm the worshipful master of Border Cities Lodge number 554. And I'm the past master of 2 other lodges. I'm not sure what council master means. I mean, I'm not a member of York Rite bodies, and I do believe there's a council in York Rite. So I don't know if I've ever seen that exact number 70,000, but we were always told just an immense number. So 70,000 would be an immense number, that's for sure. But I hope, once again, Rez, that my answer made sense. If it didn't, or if you want more information, please let me know. Thank you again for your question. I truly, truly appreciate it. And maybe we'll do this stream for another 10 minutes. Then, like I said, I'm going to call off this stream, but then I will jump onto another stream tonight just to try it out to see how it goes. Don't forget, this weekend I've got a stream. I'll be doing a stream on my personal channel, watching one of my favorite movies, which I would call a horror movie, Requiem for a Dream. But thank you to everybody who's been watching. It's been awesome. I truly, truly appreciate it. Anybody who's new to the channel, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and let me know how it's going. And don't forget to support us also through Patreon, our Medium channel, all that good stuff. And maybe tonight I will rediscuss my ideas and views regarding cryptocurrency and Freemasonry, and potential engagements of the two, and why it's so important to consider both the benefits and the risks. And I'll be doing it back from my laptop again, so we're going to see if that makes a difference. So I like to experiment with different things, see how they work, etc., etc. And if you're in Ontario, you can vote early today. So don't forget, vote early if you want to, if you can. All that stuff helps out big time with, I think, just being a civically engaged individual. Nice chat. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, Dad. Like I said, I might be on tonight, but don't skip Coronation Street to watch me. I'm pretty sure Like I said, it's illegal for you to miss watching Coronation Street, being a British person in Canada. And also, I do, even though this is my YouTube, my Masonic channel, rest in peace, RIP to Michelle Trachtenberg. One of my favorite Christmas horror movies is 2006 Black Christmas or Black Xmas. And she was in that. I also loved and still love the Buffyverse, particularly Angel, but I did enjoy Buffy the Vampire Slayer a lot. And Michelle Trachtenberg was one of the um, played Dawn in Buffy, and she was a great addition to the show. And it was just a great show. So, and she was 39 years old, which, um, so yeah, it sucks. All right, let's give it another 5 minutes or so. Let's see if anybody else. But then tonight, probably around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think I'm going to jump back on once again on the stream, this time from my laptop, this time just to see, again, do that experimentation, see how it goes, um, and see if there might be a separate audience interested in my channel that's just not available during the day. People are working, whatever it might be. We need to jump on during the evening. And maybe once again, I will discuss Freemasonry and cryptocurrency and all that good stuff. All right. Yes, goodbye, Dad, as Courtney says. And Courtney, I'm glad you joined us again. And don't worry, you're never late for this stream. So whenever you show up, I appreciate you being here. So there's never any rush. Um, nice hanging with you, Core, as well. If not sooner, I will see you on Saturday. Core, I don't know if you heard me talking about um, burnout. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, and maybe any thoughts on it from a spiritualism perspective, because I suspect spiritualism may have some potential remedies to burnout or some ways to deal with burnout. Maybe meditation, breathing exercises, things like that. Might be worth bringing you back on the stream at some point or back on the podcast to talk about that, because burnout in life is real. Masonic burnout is no different. But all right, I think we are going to call this stream. I will be back on tonight at some point. I'm just not quite sure when yet, but sometime tonight, probably 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe I'll go back over the crypto. And I'm just curious to see if there is an audience that's waiting for me to do evening streams that I'm not catching during the day. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all. If not tonight, no worries, but I'll see you next tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern once again, and then Saturday on my personal channel for watching Requiem for a Dream, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, thank you guys so much.